Hi everybody, Belinda here, and today we are going to be cooking some raw muesli bars, and this is a great recipe to get lots of goodness in, and it's nice and simple. You don't have to put anything in the oven. The first thing I'm actually going to do though is I'm just going to quickly melt the wet ingredients here, and what we have in here is vanilla extract, the coconut oil, and the rice malt syrup. So I'm just going to pop that on the stove for 2 seconds. So with our dry ingredients, now if you are celiac or you don't handle gluten well, you can actually use quinoa, flaked quinoa for this one. We're going to use rolled oats. All of the amounts are in the recipe, which you can see from the link a bit later. So I'm going to put the rolled oats in. And then we're going to add chia seeds, really high in omega-3s. We've got sunflower seeds and pepitas, and you can actually add whatever you like in terms of bits and pieces if your kids have got some favourite bits and pieces there, but those ones are really good just for all your different minerals and things. And also, if you aren't going back to school, you can add some chopped up nuts to this one too. So we'll put them in there. And then we're going to add some shredded or desiccated coconut as well. So put that all together, and we're just going to mix that all up. Just make sure you get all the lumps out, mix that all together. Now when we're finished putting this all together, you can actually, if you like chocolate muesli bars with a little bit of chocolate drizzled over the top, if you just grab some dark chocolate, so dark chocolate has a lot less sugar in it, and honestly when you're drizzling over the top, the kids aren't going to notice the difference. So you can get some dark chocolate and just melt that really gently, either in the microwave or over a pot of water, and putting in a second saucepan on top, and then you can put a drizzle over the top when it's all set in the fridge. We're going to grab our baking pan, and I've just lined it with baking paper. I put the vanilla extract there just to keep the baking paper down for the moment. It just makes it a lot easier to get out when we're finished. So I'm just going to jump over to the stove. It's almost melted. We're just waiting for the coconut oil to melt. So just a couple more seconds. And coconut oil melts at a fairly low temperature too, so you don't need to have it boiling or anything, just enough until until everything's in a nice liquid form. So you can see there's a couple little bits of coconut oil left there, so they'll just continue to melt as you give it a little bit of a stir. And then all we have to do is add our coconut oil rice malt syrup. You can, if you want, use a little bit of honey instead of rice malt syrup. You can combine the two. That's up to you. Honey will make it a lot sweeter, so in flavour, but that's okay. You might want to swap half and half there. And all we do then is we're going to mix the two together, wet and the dry ingredients together, until everything is coated in that rice malt syrup and coconut oil mixture. This recipe doesn't take very long, and I've actually made a double recipe here because my girls will eat the whole recipe almost in a sitting. So I've made a double recipe, and you just keep this in the fridge. So once you've we'll put it in the fridge, it'll harden up, and then I'll cut it and send you a photo. But yeah, just keep it in the fridge. It doesn't last very long in our house, but it lasts about 5 days in the fridge or so. So you see how it's nice and shiny, everything's wet. So then we can I'm just going to put a little bit in, then we can take out that, just hold the paper down. And when we're putting it in our container, once it's in, we're just going to squish it all down. And you can make this as thick or as thin, it just depends on the size of your container too. Just make sure we're going to squish it down nice and hard so that when it sets it doesn't all fall apart. And there we have our raw seeded muesli bar, and we're going to pop that in the fridge for half an hour, and then I'll come back and cut it into little squares afterwards.